One time, my best friend Mark's mother, Angie, asked me if my brother and I ever fight. And I say, oh yeah, we fight like titans. We scratch and claw each other, swearing and cursing the day they were born. Wait, you mean Mark or my brother Derek? She'll laugh and say, Derek. And I go, nah, I was describing Mark and I. I know better to try to fight Derek. He'll plant me. Well, this is a different video, but a special one. As I just remembered, it is 15 years since Mark Sowers and I got to know each other. I know it's cliche to say to have a friend is to be a friend, but sometimes it's hard to make friends. From my own experiences growing up, I have been blessed to have people befriend me, but when it came for me to initiate friendship, I wasn't the best at it. Let's rewind to the last week of 6th grade, 2008. I'm staying in lunch period, probably taking back some bread roll I gave my crush and took it back. After getting scolded by them, true story, I probably needed a hug, or needed a friend, or both. Then my eyes locked on this kid I saw over the last few years, just sitting at this lunch table, and I'm reminded of back in 4th grade, where I attended karate classes, and I noticed him. Around that time was when I got into watching wrestling like WWE, something him and I would bond down the line. My first impression of him when I finally got to chat with him, because something inside me just felt like I was just compelled to go speak to this guy, to befriend him. He seemed like a nice enough fella. And my first impression of him was his innocent demeanor. Then I found out he liked wrestling too, so he wasn't too innocent. As I'm recording this, I realized I have never put Mark in a sharpshooter. Missed opportunity. Even our love of sports has some Christian athletes, like Tim Tebow, Sting, AJ Styles, Undertaker, and Shawn Michaels. Like for example, Shawn would incorporate a quick prayer as his pyro goes off behind him in a blaze of glory. I would show the clip, but I don't want the WWE to take this friendship video, 15 years in the making, down. Just a few years later, Mark and I would experience more of our faith in our own way as he got more into youth ministry and I just got into a relationship with Jesus. In high school, I was still wrestling with my own sin life, using dirty jokes to compensate for my social skills that I eventually phased out of. I kept that side of myself away from Mark because, to me, he was an example of a godly man, just somebody I wanted to be like. And there for a while, he became my accountability partner when I was dealing with lust. It's like having your foot in one door that leads to righteousness where you want to live for God, and one that can lead us to be part of this world where you really don't want to give up your sin life. It's like the profound and the profane. Let me quote Paul from Ephesians 5:4, as he wrote about how we are to abstain from dirty language. Nor should there be any obscenity, foolish talk, or coarse joking, which are out of place, but rather thanksgiving. So needless to say, if I yell out a curse word, an angel is going to come down and kick me in the head. God forbid it come in the form of my grandmother. That could be its own message of dealing with God in the flesh, but I already tackled my viewpoints on it in the previous video. I'm happy to say that we are still connected to this day, even after high school ended, when I and so many others don't see their friends much or never again. We go to wrestling events together, we like anime, he endures my Michael Jackson obsession. It still pains me when he said I killed Michael Jackson for him. Besides my brother, Mark knows the most about me. But there were times several years ago, I just barfed up a lot of my personal issues on him, like an angsty teenager. Which by the time I just turned 18 then, so I'm just overcompensating when I kept my first world promise to myself during high school. I like to believe he listened to my incoherent ramblings like a good friend would. Mark was still cool enough to let me be his best man at his wedding when he married his wife, Juliana. I think I did alright as the best man. Oh God. What was I doing there? Why are you looking like that, man? Why am I standing like a statue? How did my knees not lock from staying there one place the whole time? Okay, I made some people laugh. That's good. I'm cool. I'm about to stick a whole sandwich in my mouth. Nice. I promise I was trying to have some flair in those pictures, not some weird walk of shame shenanigans. Let's move on. Awkwardness aside, I want to bring up the concept of friendship in one of my favorite books in the Bible, 1 Samuel. David and Jonathan's friendship. Jonathan, son of the first king of Israel, Saul, protected David from being killed by his father. Jonathan loved David. They had a brotherly love, such as one of the 10 Commandments, love your neighbor as yourself. In 1 Samuel 18:3, we see Jonathan show his love for David as he strips himself of his arsenal, his prince status, as like a way of showing his love for David. Jonathan took off the robe he was wearing and gave it to David, along with his tunic, and even his sword, his bow and belt. Jonathan makes this covenant with David 2 more times, while his father paranoia gets worse and plots many times to kill David, as his successes on the battlefield makes him more popular than Saul himself. Sadly, Jonathan dies in battle, but what a beautiful act of friendship on his part. I like to believe friends or loved ones we have that have passed on are up there rooting for us in the cloud of witnesses, especially the friends Jesus said in John 15:13, "Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friend." Friends, thanks for watching this video. Please like and share the video as it would help out the channel. Thanks and...
Heyo.
Hey man, what's up?
Hi. In honor of our 15 years of friendship, you mind if I give you a sharpshooter?
Why?
For the views, obviously.
Sure.
That's the ending of the video, by the way.